Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Vanessa and today we're back for the second update for my Pan That palette. This is using the PANtastic Ladies collab project theme, Kickin' It old school. So I am using one of the oldest palettes in my collection, and that would be the Too Faced Sweet Peach palette. So in this update I am going to show you not only what my palette is looking like, go through the usage, but I am going to show you the most common eye look that I did the past month. It's very similar to this one. It is not quite this one. I did film it a few days ago, so that will be tacked on at the end of this video for those that had asked for it. So let's get started. So originally, or I guess last month, this is what we are looking like. There was a few pans in there, and we've definitely added some more pans this month and have expanded some pans, so let's look at it right now. This is what we're looking like today. Dang, you see those? That's crazy. So let me post a picture so I don't have to hold this up the entire time, and let's go through the shadows. So starting on the top row, Luscious, I used once this month for a total of 3 uses so far this year. Just Peachy, I used 9 times. I know you can see that new pan in there. For a total of 13 uses. I hit pan on the 12th use overall. Bless Her Heart, I didn't use this month, but I had 5 uses on it previously, so I still have a total of 5 uses on this shadow. And the last one on the top, I know you can also see I expanded the pan there. Charmed, I'm sure I got 25 uses out of this month for a total of 51 in the year so far. On the second row, you can see the pan expansion in Nectar with an additional 22 uses this month for a total of 43 in the project. Cobbler, I also didn't use this month, but I had 3 uses on it, so I still have a total of 3 uses on it. Candied Peach, that is also a new pan this month. I used it 13 times this month for a total of 20 uses in this project, and I hit pan on the 12th use. Bellini, I used 6 times this month, and I hope you can see there's a decent dip going on in there. I'm not sure how well the picture's going to show you, but there is a fairly good dip in there so far. So there's a total of 6 uses on that shadow. Next to that is Peach Pit, which unfortunately I did not use this month, nor have I used it at all so far this year, so there's 0 uses on that one. And then starting off the last row, so Georgia I used 22 times this month for a total of 36 uses in the project. I did leave about a third of the shadow left in the pan, and the rest of it I did repress. Something fell over. The rest of it I did repress into this pan. So as soon as this one's, this version, or the one that's in the pan is gone, I will be focusing on this one. And then back to the photo, we have Caramelized beside that one. I used twice this month for a total of 5 uses this year. Puree, I used 5 times for a total of 9 uses this year. And lastly, Summer Yum, I have not used at all this year. So pretty good progress this month. As you can tell, I did really focus in on the pink shades in February, and I still kind of want to. Mostly, I just really want to hit pan on Bellini, and I'm probably halfway there. I would imagine max 10 more uses and I'll have pan in there. I know weight-wise, I didn't weigh this one last time, but I have weighed it this month, and so previously, or I guess at the beginning of the project, so in the introduction, I was at 206.0 grams, and my goal is to use 4 grams of product, and today it is weighing in at 203.5. So that's pretty good. That's 2.5 grams of product used. However, keep in mind that Georgia is pressed in here, so each shadow is 0.95 of grams, so just shy of a gram. So technically, even if I hit 202, let's say next month, but this isn't gone, then I haven't actually hit that 4 gram goal. So it's, yes, I want to get to 202 grams total on the palette, but I do need to finish this as well. If we get to 202 grams next month, we will be rolling out this palette and using a new one, and we'll get to that if we get to there next month. So goal 1 is to start using this as my full-time blush, which means I do need to finish this tiny little sliver of Georgia, which will probably take max 2 uses, I would imagine. I want to keep getting some progress on Nectar. I am currently working to go towards this corner, so I have flattened out a lot of the product here and not just gone for side pan on this one. So that's goal 2, is obviously to keep working through Nectar. Even when this palette is rolling out, I might repress nectar and use it as my face highlight until it's done, just because I do want to keep getting use out of this palette. I just keep repeating myself. So that's goals 1, 2. Goal 3 is to hit pan in Bellini. And then I'm gonna say goal 4 and 5. So 4, I want to hit pan in Bless Her Heart, but it's not my favorite shade of green. It's not the best at like sticking to nail polish, so I can't really use it. Well, I can use it in that way. It just won't look as nice as I think it could. It is March, so there are gonna be a bunch of green looks this month, so that shouldn't be too hard to get use out of that one. But we'll see. That's gonna be quite a feat if I can hit pan in that one, because it's definitely harder pressed than the other 2 shimmers that I've been working on. And then last but not least is Charmed. I'm sure I have been working towards this side, so I do want to try and clear out this corner if possible, and then I'm gonna start trying to push it this way. So clear out this corner if possible. The rest of it looks basically untouched because I've been focusing on that corner. So that's it for the update portion. Let's go over to the tutorial part now. Thank you again to Debbie for recommending or for requesting this. So I am doing this specifically for you and for anybody else that was interested. So let's switch over there. Bye from me. Alrighty, so thanks to Debbie, I will be showing you one of my eye looks that I usually do when I use my Pan That palette. So I already have most of my base done. My eyelids are concealed and set with my skin tone shade of primer, and let's get started. So I usually just take a medium size fluffy brush, and I'm gonna start by tipping into Georgia and just throwing that through my crease as my first transition shade. So I like to swirl around the outsides, go back and forth, the huge windshield washer, and I'm going really gently on my eye, but I'm an impatient person, so I do move quickly, but I'm always gentle. Okay, so now that that first shadow is kind of really blown out in my crease, I'm gonna go in with Candied Peach, and I'm just gonna throw that again in my crease, but more focusing on the, I'll say, outer third. I'm not gonna use this brush, though sometimes I do if I'm in a hurry. I usually use a flatter, sorry, so I'm gonna go in with a brush more like this. So it is still a domed brush, but it is flatter on one end, so it's kind of more slightly more tapered. It's just not as big and fluffy. It's more like a rectangular shape. And like I said, I just dip into Candied Peach, coat my brush, tap off the excess, and I'm just gonna start, I just focus it right in my crease, go about halfway, and swirl on the outside. I really like to build up the color on my outer corner, just because I find that's the most cohesive way to get everything blended nicely. Once there's a little bit less product on my brush, I will go all the way into the inner corner and just make sure everything is blended nicely. Now that everything's kind of nicely blended, I will go in with a much smaller brush. It's just this little domed pencil brush. This one's from Japanesque. It doesn't have any other identifying features than that word, but I will either go in with a kind of dark purple like this, No Egrets from the Lovebird palette, or when I was working on my Nubian 2, I went in with Jezebel, or if I'm not feeling purple and I want to just stick to my Pan That palette, I will go in with one of the browns. Recently I've been really going into Charmed, I'm sure, but sometimes I'll go into Puree. And I'm just going to take the tiniest amount, tap that off, and literally just in the very corner, I will tap this in first and kind of make a V shaped, and then I will swirl her in to blend. So that just added a tiny bit more depth to my shadow. And now I'm going in with the ColourPop Creme Gel Liner in Fluffy, and I use this as my eyeshadow base, so I very gently pull my eyelid a little bit less wrinkly and very gently just go across the main, I'll say 2/3 of my lid, basically where we didn't put that outside shadow, and just rub that around. Maybe blend it in a little bit with my finger, just a smidge, just because I find this gives it more of a pink look than peachy gold, and I'm personally a big fan of the pink, so I'm also trying to finish this liner on my own time, so that's what I do. And now going in, now that that's kind of blended out, I'm going to go with any type of shadow brush. This is the cleanest one I have right now, slash it's the one I used yesterday when I did this eye look. But any type of, I mean, this is more of a like concealer brush style, but it doesn't really matter. A regular shadow brush works just fine. But usually what I've been going into is just peachy, which if you hold the palette the proper way, just peaches up here. But because I have pan, I have moved on to Bellini, which looks virtually identical on the eye. So I just like to load up my brush. I always pack both sides. And then just to be safe, I do give it a spray of MAC Fix Plus. And then I'm just going to go over where we put that eyeliner. And just go back and forth. Super gentle. With some sweeping, mostly just smaller little like pat and drags type thing. We're just gonna go across, and this one I will go closer to my outer corner, not all the way to the very end, but I will bring it further. So again, sorry, I don't even think you saw that. I did spray this again. So that's my top lid mostly done. On my bottom lid, I am going to go back in with Georgia and then a bit of Candied Peach, just on the Georgia all the way across, and Candied Peach just on the outside, just to make the top and bottom match. Now, I personally am a big fan of the big under eye bags when it comes to eyeshadow, so I bring it pretty low. But if you're not into that, then don't do that. So for Georgia, I used more of a pencil brush, like just a small little pencil brush, but for Candied Peach, I use this Real Techniques brush, which is basically just the tiniest shadow, the tiniest shadow brush. It's again flat one way, a little bit wider that way, and I just pick up Candied Peach right on the tip where the white bristles are, tap it off, and right along the lash line, just go in there. So once that's done, I'm just going to go in with a relatively clean brush. This has just been used to add to powder my under eyes, so I'm just going to use it to kind of wipe away any of those loose pink particles and trying to clean it up a bit. And then this is where I spice up my look. So when I do eyeliner, that's when I usually change it up. So I usually, if I'm, again, sticking to my Pan That palette, I'll use Caramelized, which is this beautiful dark bronzy metallic shade. Or because I'm currently working on Icon from the ColourPop Wild Child palette, I've been dipping into this one. Or with the Juvia's Place, if I want to change it up and do blue eyeliner, I'll use the Cleopatra shade from there. So today I'm going to use Icon just because I am still trying to hit pan on this one, but it doesn't matter. If you want to just stick to the Sweet Peach and use Caramelized, you can. So again, I'm just going to load up the tip of this liner brush, and then I do tap it off, and I do take some of my Fix Plus and I just put it onto a little, any little type of lid, and then I'll wet my brush, and that way it's more like eyeliner than shadow. So when I do eyeliner, I always start just doing my lid on both sides. That way, if I'm feeling lazy and I don't want to do a wing, then eyeliner is even on either side. But when I do a wing, I just go right where the crease is and pull outwards a smidge, and then I rotate my brush so now the pointier side is facing away. And I just go over that line and just try and straighten it out. Alrighty, so the liner's done. I did use a black eyeliner in my top waterline. I went back with Fluffy on the bottom waterline, and then I added my mascara. So the last thing to do is my inner corner highlight. Again, if I'm focusing on this palette alone, I will use Nectar in my inner corner, which is usually what I do. But because I am trying to hit the final pan on my Level Up palette, a little spoiler for that project, I am going to go in with Zuri today. So I just go in with a more pointed domed pencil brush and go right into my inner corner, pull a little bit up, and I always go on that little bit of inner corner before, or like just where my lashes start, just to bring a little bit of brightness down there, because especially today I have not had a lot of sleep, so that just helps brighten the under eyes. And same thing on the other side. So that's everything for this eye look. To finish off the entire face, I just need to bronze, put on a lip color, maybe a bolder highlight, and then I am good for the day. So if you want to see how I do with the rest of this palette or any of my other projects, please consider subscribing. And with that, I hope you have a great day, night, or whatever time of day it is for you. Take care. Bye.